I was in the living room watching the news when my daughter-in-law walked in and turned it off mid-sentence. Not asked, not suggested. Just reached over and pressed the button like I was furniture that had become inconvenient. "Go to your room," she said. Not angry. Not even particularly loud. Just matter of fact, the way you'd tell a dog to get off the couch. I looked at my son. Kevin stood in the doorway with his hands in his pockets, staring at a spot on the wall about 3 feet to my left. Not at me. Never at me anymore. "Kevin," I said. He cleared his throat. "Dad, maybe it's easier if you just go upstairs for a bit. We need to talk about some things." "Some things," I repeated. "Private things," Jessica said. She had her arms crossed. She was wearing yoga pants and one of those expensive workout tops that cost more than my entire outfit. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail so tight it looked like it hurt. "Family things." I almost laughed. Family things. In my house. The house I bought in 1987, with money I earned working 70-hour weeks at a job that destroyed my back and gave me tinnitus. The house where I raised Kevin after his mother died. The house where I let them move in 2 years ago because they said they needed help getting on their feet. But I didn't laugh. I stood up slowly, my knees popping, and walked toward the stairs. "Your keys," Jessica said. I stopped. "What?" "Your car keys. Leave them on the table." I turned around. Kevin was still looking at the wall. "Why would I do that?" "Because we need the car tomorrow," she said. "And you don't have anywhere to go." The television sat dark and silent behind me. I could see my reflection in the black screen. An old man with thinning gray hair and stooped shoulders. Someone who looked exactly like the kind of person who would do what he was told. I put my keys on the coffee table. The walk upstairs took forever. Each step creaked under my weight. I could hear them talking in low voices below me, but I couldn't make out the words. Didn't need to. I knew what they were saying. I'd heard variations of it for months now. The spare bedroom had been mine since they moved into the master. "Just temporarily," Kevin had said, "until we figure things out." That was 18 months ago. I sat on the edge of the bed and looked at my hands. They were shaking, not from fear, from something else, something that felt like rage, but was colder and more patient. My phone buzzed. A text from Linda, my wife of 3 years. We'd married late, both of us widowed, both of us thinking we'd found something good in the wreckage of our previous lives. "Working late, don't wait up." Linda worked as a paralegal at a small firm downtown. She was sharp, observant, and had a way of seeing through people that sometimes made me uncomfortable. She'd been watching Kevin and Jessica for months, with the same expression a scientist might use to study bacteria under a microscope. I didn't reply to her text. Instead, I lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. There was a water stain shaped like South America in the upper corner. I'd been meaning to fix it for 2 years. Downstairs, the television came back on. I could hear the muffled sound of some reality show, punctuated by Jessica's laugh. It was a specific kind of laugh, the kind that meant she'd won something. I closed my eyes. The next morning, I came downstairs to find my keys were gone. Not on the coffee table where I'd left them. Not anywhere I could see. Kevin was in the kitchen making coffee. He didn't look at me when I walked in. "Where are my keys?" "We needed the car," he said. "Jessica had errands." "Those are my spare keys. Where are they?" He poured coffee into a mug that said, "World's Best Dad." I'd bought it for him when he was 12. The irony wasn't lost on me. "I don't know," he said. "Ask her when she gets back." I opened the drawer where we kept spare keys, spare batteries, spare everything. My car keys weren't there. Neither were the house keys I usually kept on the ring. Kevin. "Dad, I don't have time for this right now. I have a meeting." He grabbed his jacket and walked out the door without looking back. I heard his car start in the driveway. My car. The one I'd bought with my own money and put in my own name. I walked to the front window and watched him drive away. The morning was gray and cold, November in the suburbs. The doorbell rang at 9:47. I remember the time exactly because I was standing in the kitchen staring at the clock, trying to decide if this was the kind of thing normal people called the police about or if I was just being paranoid. When I opened the door, there was a man in a suit on my porch. Not a cheap suit. Not an expensive one either. Just professional. Navy blue, pressed shirt, conservative tie. He had a briefcase in one hand and a folder in the other. "Mr. David Brennan?" "Yes." "I'm with Morrison and Associates. May I come in?" "What's this about?" He smiled. It was the kind of smile people practice in front of mirrors. Friendly but not warm. Professional but not threatening. "It's regarding the property at this address. It'll just take a moment." Across the street, Mrs. Patterson was standing at her window. She wasn't even pretending not to watch, just standing there with her coffee mug, staring directly at us. "Come in," I said. We sat in the living room, the same living room where I'd been told to go to my room 12 hours earlier. He opened his briefcase with practiced efficiency and pulled out a stack of papers. "This is just a courtesy visit," he said, "to confirm receipt and understanding of the temporary occupancy adjustment filing." "The what?" "Your son filed paperwork 3 weeks ago regarding a modification to the property arrangement. Since you're listed as a co-resident, we're required to provide direct notification." He slid a piece of paper across the coffee table. It had official letterhead, lots of words in small print. A signature at the bottom that looked like Kevin's, but was too neat to be sure. "I didn't agree to anything," I said. "The filing doesn't require your agreement, sir. It's a notice of status change based on the primary loan holder's discretion." "What loan?" He pulled out another document. This one had more words, more signatures, more official-looking stamps. "The equity line of credit opened against the property 17 months ago. Your son is listed as the primary borrower and beneficiary. The terms allow for residential arrangement modifications at the borrower's discretion, provided proper notice is filed." The walls seemed to tilt slightly. I put my hand on the armrest to steady myself. "This is my house." "Yes, sir. You're listed as the title holder. However, the lien against the property supersedes occupancy rights under the terms your son agreed to when he opened the line of credit." "I never agreed to any line of credit." "No, sir. But according to our records, you signed a co-authorization document when your son moved into the residence. That document included language permitting the primary resident to secure necessary financing for property maintenance and improvements." I didn't remember signing anything like that, but I remembered Kevin bringing over papers when they first moved in. Something about insurance, he'd said. Just a formality. "Sign here, Dad. It'll make everything easier." The man in the suit was still smiling his practiced smile. "What does this mean?" I asked. "It means your son has initiated a process to formalize his status as the primary resident of the property. You'll continue to be welcome here, of course, but certain arrangements may need to be adjusted. It's all very standard in situations where elderly parents and adult children share a residence." "I'm 58 years old." "Yes, sir." He stood up, collected his papers, and put them back in his briefcase with the same efficient movements he'd used to take them out. "If you have any questions, our office number is on the letterhead. Have a good day, Mr. Brennan." He let himself out. I sat on the couch for a long time after he left. The papers were still on the coffee table. I picked them up and tried to read them, but the words kept sliding around on the page. Occupancy adjustment, primary resident, lien supersession. My phone buzzed. Linda. "Coming home for lunch. Need to talk." I looked at the clock. It was 10:15. She wasn't supposed to be home until after 6. Linda walked in at 11:30 with a cardboard box and 2 coffees. She set everything down on the kitchen table and looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Not angry, not sad. Something more dangerous than either. "When were you going to tell me?" she said. "Tell you what?" "About the loan, about the papers Kevin had you sign, about any of it." I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I didn't know," I said. She pulled a folder out of the cardboard box. It was thick, stuffed with documents, bank statements, legal filings, printouts with highlighted sections. "I've been tracking your accounts for 11 months, she said. "Ever since Jessica asked me for your bank routing number, and you gave it to her without asking why." She said it was for a birthday present. "It was for a cash advance against your signature. $42,000, David. They took out $42,000 using your authorization and put it into an account you don't have access to." The kitchen was very quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming, could hear Mrs. Patterson's dog barking next door. "How long have you known?" "Long enough to make copies of everything, long enough to talk to a lawyer, long enough to watch them do exactly what I thought they'd do." She sat down across from me and pushed one of the coffees in my direction. It was still hot. I wrapped my hands around it but didn't drink. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I needed to be sure, and because I needed you to see it yourself. If I'd told you 6 months ago, you would have made excuses. You would have said Kevin was going through a hard time, that Jessica was just trying to help. That family works things out. They're going to take the house." "No," Linda said. "They're going to try to take the house. There's a difference." She pulled out another document. This one had a lot of red pen marks. "The paperwork Kevin filed has holes. The loan he took out? It requires your explicit consent for any equity line above $20,000. He forged a signature. The occupancy adjustment? It's only valid if you've been declared mentally incompetent or if you voluntarily cede primary resident status. You've done neither. So what do I do?" She looked at me for a long time. Her eyes were very blue in the kitchen light. "That depends," she said. "Do you want them embarrassed, or do you want them erased?" I didn't answer right away. I thought about being told to go to my room, about my keys disappearing, about the man in the suit with his practiced smile and his talk of occupancy adjustments. "What's the difference?" "Embarrassed means we go to court, we prove fraud, we get the house back, and they leave with their reputations damaged but recoverable. Erased means we do everything by the book, we use every legal tool available, and when we're done, they have nothing. No house, no loan, no credibility, no way to explain what they did without admitting to fraud. That's my son. I know. He's my only child. I know that too." I drank the coffee. It was too hot and burned my tongue, but I kept drinking. "What do I have to do?" Linda smiled. It wasn't warm, but it was real. "First," she said, "we rent a storage unit. While you're here, hit the hype button, don't forget to subscribe and support this channel with a like. And tell us below, have you ever faced something like this?" The storage unit was in a facility off the highway, one of those places with orange doors and security cameras that never quite pointed in the right direction. Linda drove. My car was still wherever Jessica had taken it, and Linda's sedan was small and efficient and smelled like the vanilla air freshener she kept clipped to the vent. We didn't talk much on the drive. The radio played soft jazz, and I watched the suburbs roll past through the window. Strip malls and gas stations and houses that all looked exactly like mine. The storage facility manager was a kid who couldn't have been more than 22. He had acne scars and a name tag that said Brandon, and the kind of eager helpfulness that meant he was either new or trying to avoid being fired. "How big a unit do you need?" he asked. Linda looked at me. I looked at the price sheet taped to the counter. 10 by 10, I said. "Moving or just storage?" "Just storage." He typed something into his computer with 2 fingers. "We've got one available on the 2nd floor. Climate controlled, access code entry, 1st month and deposit due today." I pulled out my credit card, the one Kevin didn't know about. The one I'd opened 3 years ago when I married Linda, just in case. Just in case of what? I hadn't known at the time. Brandon ran the card and printed out a receipt and a rental agreement. I signed without reading it. Linda read every word over my shoulder and then signed as my emergency contact. "You folks need any boxes?" Brandon asked. "We sell them up front. Also tape, bubble wrap, markers." "We're good," Linda said. We weren't good. We didn't have anything except Linda's folder of documents and the knowledge that we were about to pack up pieces of my life and put them in a box with an orange door. We drove back to the house at 1:30 in the afternoon. Kevin's car was in the driveway. So was a silver SUV I didn't recognize. "Whose car is that?" I asked. Linda put the sedan in park and stared at the SUV. "Jessica's mother." "How do you know?" "License plate frame says Blessed Grandma in pink letters." We sat there for a moment. The engine ticked as it cooled. A leaf blew across the windshield. "Do we go in?" I asked. "Not yet. Give me 10 minutes. She pulled out her phone and made a call. I couldn't hear who answered, but Linda's voice went professional and clipped. "Hi, yes, I need to confirm an appointment for this afternoon. 2:30, David Brennan. Yes, that's right. Thank you." She hung up and looked at me. "You have a meeting with a lawyer at 2:30. "I do?" "You do now. His name is Richard Kim. Small firm, 3 partners, specializes in elder financial abuse and property fraud. I've been talking to him for 2 months. You set this up 2 months ago?" "I set this up the day after Jessica asked you to sign a power of attorney document for medical emergencies, and you almost did it without reading it." I didn't remember that. Or maybe I did, and I'd convinced myself it wasn't important. We got out of the car. The front door opened before we reached it, and Jessica's mother came out with a bright smile and a casserole dish covered in aluminum foil. Her name was Patricia. She was 63 years old, had 2 blonde hair and 2 white teeth, and wore the kind of activewear that expensive suburban women wore when they wanted to look casual but spent $300 doing it. "David, I was just bringing this over for you. Jessica said you've been feeling under the weather." "I'm fine." "Well, you look a little tired. This is my chicken and rice casserole. Just heat it up at 350 for 30 minutes. It's very easy." She thrust the dish into my hands. It was still warm. I could smell garlic and something else I couldn't identify. "Thank you," I said, because what else could I say? "Oh, it's no trouble at all. Family takes care of family, right?" She patted my arm. "Jessica told me you've been having some trouble adjusting to the new arrangements. I just want you to know that we all support you. Change is hard at your age." Linda made a sound that might have been a cough. Patricia turned to her with the same bright smile. "Linda, I didn't see you there. How are you, dear?" "Fine," Linda said. "We're actually running late for an appointment." "Oh, of course, I won't keep you. David, you just let Jessica know if you need anything. She's so worried about you." She walked to her SUV, waved, and drove away. The license plate frame really did say Blessed Grandma in pink letters. I stood there holding the casserole. "What do we do with this?" I asked. "We throw it away," Linda said. "After we photograph it for evidence." "Evidence of what?" "Of a pattern. Of Jessica's family inserting themselves into your life to build a narrative that you're declining and need help. The casserole is Act 1. Act 2 will be her mother telling everyone at church that you're forgetting things and seem confused. Act 3 will be a recommendation for a cognitive evaluation." I looked at the casserole. It looked like a casserole. "That's paranoid. That's preparedness. Take it inside. We have 20 minutes before we need to leave." Kevin was in the living room on his laptop. He looked up when we walked in, saw the casserole, and went back to his screen without comment. I put the casserole in the refrigerator next to a gallon of milk I didn't remember buying, and a container of Chinese food that was probably older than it should be. "We're going out," I told Kevin. "Okay. We'll be back later." "Okay." That was it. That was the entire conversation. He didn't ask where we were going or why. Didn't look up from his laptop, just sat there typing something with the television on mute in the background. I followed Linda back to her car. The law office of Kim and Associates was in a small building downtown, wedged between a dental office and a tax preparation service. The waiting room had 4 chairs, a coffee maker, and a stack of magazines from 2019. A receptionist who looked like she was working 3 jobs and counting took my name and told us to sit. We sat. 5 minutes later, a man came out. He was in his 40s, Korean, wearing a good suit that had been tailored to fit. He had glasses and a firm handshake and the kind of face that gave away nothing. "Mr. Brennan, Mrs. Brennan, I'm Richard Kim. Come on back." His office was small and organized, law books on shelves, framed degrees on the wall, a desk that had seen better days but was clean and clear except for a laptop and a legal pad. We sat. He sat. He opened the laptop and pulled up a file. "Linda's been keeping me updated," he said. "I've reviewed the documents she provided. Before we go further, I need to ask you some questions. They may feel intrusive or unnecessary, but I need honest answers." "Okay," I said. "Have you ever been diagnosed with any cognitive impairment? Dementia, Alzheimer's, anything that would affect your decision-making capacity?" "No." "Have you ever signed a document giving your son power of attorney over your financial or medical decisions?" "No." "Did you knowingly and willingly agree to a $42,000 equity line of credit against your property?" "No." He typed something. "Did you sign documents when your son moved into your house?" "Yes." "Do you remember what those documents were?" I tried to remember. Kevin at the kitchen table, papers spread out. His voice saying it was just insurance paperwork, just a formality, just easier this way. He said it was insurance stuff, to add them to the homeowner's policy. "Did you read what you signed?" I didn't answer. Kim didn't push, just waited. "No," I said finally. "I didn't read it." "That's okay. Most people don't. That's why fraud works." He pulled out a printed document and turned it so I could see it. It was covered in highlighter marks and sticky notes. "This is one of the documents you signed. It's not insurance paperwork. It's a co-residency agreement with embedded financial authorization language. Essentially, you agreed that your son could make financial decisions regarding the property as long as those decisions were in the best interest of maintaining the residence. That's vague legal language that could mean almost anything. So he can take the house? No. He can't take the house. The house is in your name. The title is clear. But he can make it very difficult for you to access your own home. And he can take out loans against it as long as he can argue those loans are for property maintenance or improvement. The loan isn't for property maintenance. I know. That's why we have a case. But proving it will require showing where the money went and demonstrating that the loan was taken under false pretenses. That's going to take time and documentation. Linda leaned forward. How much time? If we move fast? 3 months to 6 months? If they fight it? Could be a year. What happens in the meantime? You stay in the house. You document everything. Every conversation, every interaction, every time they do something that suggests they're trying to force you out. And you avoid signing anything else. Nothing. Not even a birthday card with weird language. I felt exhausted. Bone-tired in a way that sleep wouldn't fix. What if I just leave? I asked. What if I just walk away and let them have it? Kim looked at me for a long moment. Then he closed his laptop. Then they win. They get the house. They get the equity. And they do this to someone else. Maybe not soon. Maybe not for years. But people who do this once usually do it again. He's my son. I understand that. But your son is committing fraud, and his wife is the one driving it. I've seen this before, Mr. Brennan. The adult child moves back home, starts small, borrows money, asks for help, then it escalates. Suddenly they're on the mortgage. Suddenly they're making decisions. Suddenly the parent is the guest in their own house. How does it usually end? Depends on how fast someone catches it. Best case, the parent realizes what's happening and gets help before losing everything. Worst case, the parent ends up in a state-run nursing home while their house gets sold and their money disappears. The office was very quiet. I could hear traffic outside, could hear the receptionist talking on the phone in the other room. "What do we do?" I asked. Kim opened his laptop again. "We file a complaint with the county. We challenge the loan. We demand a full accounting of where the money went. And we prepare for your son and daughter-in-law to be very unhappy." They're already unhappy. They're about to get worse. People don't like it when their plans fall apart, especially when those plans involve other people's money. He printed out a stack of documents and had me sign them. Linda signed too, as my wife and witness. Each signature felt like a small declaration of war. When we finished, Kim walked us to the door. "One more thing," he said. "If this goes public, and it probably will, they're going to lose more than the house. They'll lose credibility, friends, reputation, jobs, possibly. Courts don't like financial elder abuse, and neither does the community. Once this gets out, people will know." "Good," Linda said. Kim looked at me. "Are you ready for that?" I thought about being told to go to my room, about my keys disappearing, about the man in the suit and his talk of occupancy adjustments. "Yes," I said. We drove home in silence. Kevin and Jessica were both in the living room when we got back. They were sitting close together on the couch, talking in low voices. When we walked in, they stopped and looked at us with expressions that were trying to look casual, but weren't quite succeeding. "Hey, Dad," Kevin said. "Where'd you go?" "Out." "Out where?" "Just out. Errands." Jessica smiled. It was the same bright smile her mother had used earlier. Professional, practiced, false. "We were thinking we should all have dinner together tonight," she said. "Like a family. We could go to that Italian place you like, Antonio's." I looked at Linda. She looked back at me with the same neutral expression she'd been wearing all day. "Why?" I asked. "Why what?" "Why do you want to have dinner?" Jessica's smile flickered. "Because we're family. Because we haven't done something nice together in a while. Because I think we need to talk." "About what?" "About arrangements. About making sure everyone's comfortable. About the future." The word arrangements hung in the air like smoke. "Sure," I said. "What time?" 7. We could meet there." "We'll drive ourselves," Linda said. "Oh, you don't have to do that. We can all go together." "We'll drive ourselves," Linda repeated. There was a moment of silence. Then Jessica's smile came back, brighter than before. "Of course. That's fine. We'll see you there at 7. We went upstairs. Linda closed the bedroom door behind us and immediately pulled out her phone. "She's setting something up," she said. "What do you mean?" "The dinner, the sudden family bonding, the public location. She's going to do something tonight. Make some kind of announcement or statement or demand." "Like what?" "I don't know yet, but we're going to record everything." She showed me her phone. There was an app open that I'd never seen before. Voice recording. Auto upload to cloud storage. "Put your phone on the table when we sit down. Make sure it's facing them. I'll do the same. We'll have audio from both angles." Is that legal? In this state? Yes. Single-party consent. As long as one person in the conversation knows they're being recorded, it's legal. And we'll both know. She sat on the edge of the bed and pulled out her folder of documents, started making notes on a legal pad. I watched her work, methodical and focused, and realized I'd never seen this side of her before. This cold, calculated precision. "Have you done this before?" I asked. She didn't look up. "Done what?" "This. Built a case against someone. Documented everything." "Once," she said. "A long time ago. Different circumstances." "What happened?" "I won." She kept writing. I didn't ask any more questions. At 6:45, we left for the restaurant. Antonio's was a family place that had been around for 30 years. Red tablecloths, checkered curtains, pictures of Italy on the walls that probably came from a restaurant supply catalog. Kevin and Jessica were already there when we arrived. They'd gotten a table in the back corner, private but still visible to most of the restaurant, strategic. A waiter came over as soon as we sat down, young guy with slicked back hair and a too big smile. "Can I start you folks with some drinks?" "Water for me," I said. "Same," Linda said. "We'll have a bottle of the house red," Jessica said. "The Chianti." The waiter left. Jessica folded her hands on the table and looked at me with what I guess was supposed to be concern. "Dad, I wanted to talk to you about something important." "Okay." "Kevin and I have been talking, and we're worried about you. You seem stressed, confused. We think maybe it's time to consider some changes that would make things easier for everyone." "What kind of changes?" She glanced at Kevin. He was looking at his menu like it contained state secrets. "Well, for starters, we think it might be good for you to see someone. A doctor, just to make sure everything's okay. Memory, cognitive function, that kind of thing." "There's nothing wrong with my memory." "We know you think that, but sometimes people don't realize when they're starting to decline. It's normal at your age, nothing to be ashamed of." The waiter came back with water and wine, poured glasses for Jessica and Kevin. They both drank immediately. "I'm not declining," I said. "Dad, you forgot where you put your keys yesterday." "I didn't forget. They were taken." "See, that's what I'm talking about. This kind of confusion, these accusations. It's concerning." Linda put her phone on the table, face up, camera pointing toward Jessica. Jessica noticed. "Are you recording this?" "Yes," Linda said. "That's illegal." "It's not. Single-party consent state. Look it up." Jessica's face went red, the kind of red that starts at the neck and climbs up like a rash. "This is a private family conversation." "Then you shouldn't be having it in a public restaurant." "I'm trying to help. You're trying to build a narrative. It's not the same thing." Kevin finally looked up from his menu. "Linda, come on. We're just trying to do what's best for Dad." "By taking his house?" The words dropped like stones. Kevin's face went white. Jessica's went redder. "We're not taking anything," Jessica said. Her voice was loud enough that people at nearby tables turned to look. "We're trying to help him. He can barely take care of himself. He forgets things. He leaves the stove on. He gets confused." "I've never left the stove on," I said. "You did last week." "No, I didn't." "See? You don't even remember." The waiter came back, saw the tension, backed away slowly without asking for our order. Jessica took a long drink of wine. When she put the glass down, her hand was shaking slightly. "Look," she said, her voice calmer now, more controlled. "I know this is hard. Change is always hard. But Kevin and I have been talking to some people, and we think the best thing would be for you to sign over primary residence to Kevin. Officially. It would make things cleaner, easier, less confusing for everyone." "What do I get?" I asked. She blinked. "What?" "If I sign over primary residence, what do I get?" "You get to stay in the house. You get to be taken care of. You get to not worry about bills and maintenance and all the things that are getting harder for you. And you get to take out more loans against the equity." Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. "That's not what this is about." "Yes, it is." Kevin leaned forward. "Dad, please, just listen. We're trying to protect you." "From what?" "From making mistakes, from getting taken advantage of, from—" He stopped, looked at Jessica. She looked back at him, and something passed between them. Something that looked a lot like panic. "From what, Kevin?" "From yourself," Jessica said. "You're not thinking clearly. You're paranoid. You think everyone's out to get you. That's not normal, David. That's a sign of cognitive decline." Linda laughed. It was a short, sharp sound that cut through the restaurant noise like a blade. "That's good," she said. "Really good. Accuse him of paranoia right before he finds out you've been stealing from him. Very clever. We haven't stolen anything. You took out a $42,000 loan against his house without his knowledge. What would you call that? People were definitely staring now. The waiter had given up entirely and was hiding behind the bar. The manager was watching from the kitchen door with a phone in his hand. Jessica stood up. Her chair scraped loudly against the floor. "We're done here," she said. "Kevin, let's go." Kevin didn't move. He was looking at me with an expression I couldn't read. Something between guilt and anger and something else. "Kevin," Jessica said again. "I didn't know she'd already taken the money," Kevin said quietly. "Kevin, shut up. I thought we were just getting pre-approved. I didn't know she'd already withdrawn it." "Kevin." Jessica showed up at the house on a Saturday morning in late February. I was in the garage organizing tools when I heard a car pull into the driveway. Looked out and saw Patricia's silver SUV. Jessica got out. She was thinner than she'd been 2 months ago, paler. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She was wearing sweatpants and an oversized jacket. She walked to the front door and knocked. Linda answered. I heard their voices through the garage door but couldn't make out words. Then Linda's voice, louder. "He doesn't want to talk to you. I need to get some things." "You had 72 hours to get your things. I have a right to my property." "You don't have any property here. You moved out. You forfeited everything you left behind." Jessica's voice went higher, more desperate. "Please, just let me get my stuff. I won't cause trouble." I walked into the house through the garage door. Linda was standing in the doorway with her arms crossed. Jessica was on the porch looking like she might cry or scream or both. "What do you want?" I asked. Jessica looked at me. Her eyes were red. "My grandmother's jewelry. It's in a box in the bedroom closet. Please. It's all I have left of her." Linda looked at me. I looked at Jessica. "Wait here," I said. I went upstairs to what used to be the master bedroom. The room was empty now. We'd moved furniture around, repainted, tried to make it ours instead of theirs. But the closet still had boxes stacked in the corner. Boxes Kevin hadn't taken when he moved out. I found the jewelry box. Small wooden thing with a brass clasp. Opened it to make sure it was actually jewelry and not something else. It was. Rings, necklaces, earrings, old stuff. Probably worth something, but not enough to fight over. I brought it downstairs. Jessica was still on the porch. Linda was still blocking the doorway. I handed the box to Jessica. She took it with shaking hands. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't come back here," I said. "I won't, I needed this." She turned to leave. Got halfway to the car. Stopped. "I'm sorry," she said without turning around. "For what?" "For all of it. For the loan. For the lies. For everything." "Are you really sorry, or are you just sorry you lost?" She turned around. Her face was streaked with tears. "Does it matter?" "Yeah, it does." She wiped her face with her sleeve. "I don't know. I thought I was helping. I thought we deserved it. I thought you wouldn't even notice." "I noticed. I know. And I'm sorry. For whatever that's worth." She got in the car and drove away. Linda closed the door, locked it, looked at me. "Do you believe her?" she asked. "No." "Good. Neither do I." We stood in the entryway for a moment. Then Linda went back to the kitchen where she'd been making breakfast. I went back to the garage where I'd been organizing tools. Life went on. Kevin called the next week. "The divorce is final," he said. That was fast. "Jessica didn't fight it. I think she's too tired or too broke or both." "How are you doing?" "I'm surviving. Got my own apartment now. 1 bedroom, cheap. But it's mine." "That's good." "I'm in therapy. Mike's girlfriend recommended someone. We're working through some things." "What kind of things?" "Why I let it happen. Why I didn't see it sooner. Why I chose her over you." "Did you choose her over me?" Yeah, I think I did, and I'm sorry for that. We talked for a few more minutes. Surface stuff, weather, work, the apartment. Then Kevin said he had to go. Talk to you soon? He asked. Yeah, talk to you soon. We hung up. It was the most normal conversation we'd had in 2 years, maybe longer. Spring came slowly. March was cold and wet. April was better. May was beautiful. Linda and I settled into a routine. Work, dinners, weekends, small repairs around the house, the kind of normal life we'd been trying to have before everything went wrong. The neighborhood slowly stopped treating me like a pariah. Mrs. Patterson still brought casseroles. The mailman started talking again. The neighbor who'd crossed the street gave me a wave one morning. Patricia stopped going to our church. Rumor was she'd started attending a different congregation across town, where people didn't know the whole story, where she could still be the victim's mother. In June, Kevin called and asked if he could come by for dinner. Linda and I talked about it, decided it was okay, set a date. He arrived exactly on time with a bottle of wine and an apology that had clearly been rehearsed. I know I don't deserve this, he said, but thank you for letting me come. You're my son, I said. That doesn't change. Even after everything? Even after everything. We ate dinner, grilled chicken, salad, the wine Kevin brought. Conversation was careful at first, then easier, then almost normal. After dinner, we sat in the living room, the same living room where everything had started, but different now. New furniture, new energy, new beginning maybe. I talked to Jessica last week, Kevin said. How is she? Moving to Arizona. Her sister lives there. She's got a job lined up. Customer service or something. She's starting over. Good for her. She asked me to tell you something. What? That she really is sorry, and that she knows it doesn't fix anything. But she wanted you to know. I nodded. Didn't say anything. Kevin looked at his hands. I'm sorry too. I know I keep saying it, but I am. I know. Do you think you'll ever really forgive me? I thought about that. About the past 2 years. About the lies and the betrayal and the slow erosion of trust. About the man in the suit and the brick through the window and standing in a courtroom watching my son admit to fraud. I'm working on it, I said. That's fair. He left an hour later, hugged me at the door, a real hug. Not the awkward, obligatory kind. Actual affection. Thank you, he said. For what? For not giving up on me. You're my son. I couldn't give up on you if I tried. He drove away. I locked the door. Linda was already in bed reading. How'd it go? She asked. Good. Better than I expected. Do you trust him? Not yet, but maybe someday. That's progress. She went back to her book. I got ready for bed, brushed my teeth, changed clothes, climbed under the covers. Thank you, I said to Linda. She looked up. For what? For seeing it, for fighting, for not letting them win. You don't have to thank me for that. I do. You saved me, saved the house, saved everything. She put her book down and turned off the light. We saved each other, she said. That's what marriage is supposed to be. We went to sleep. Summer passed. Kevin came to dinner once a month. Each visit was easier than the last. Each conversation went a little deeper. In August, he told me he'd met someone, a woman from work, nice, stable, nothing like Jessica. I'm not rushing it, he said. I'm taking my time, learning to trust my own judgment again. Good. I want you to meet her, eventually, when it's right. I'd like that. In September, Kevin brought her to dinner. Her name was Rachel. She was a project manager, smart, funny. She asked good questions and listened to the answers. After they left, Linda said, I like her. Me too. Think it'll last? I hope so. He deserves something good. October brought cooler weather. November brought the anniversary. 1 year since Jessica had told me to go to my room. 1 year since everything started falling apart. I didn't mention it to anyone, but I thought about it. About how much had changed. About how much had stayed the same. In December, Kevin called. "It's been a year," he said. "Yeah. You told me to ask you in a year if we could fix this, so I'm asking, can we?" I thought about that question. Really thought about it. "Yeah," I said. "We can. Really. Really. It won't be like it was before, but we can build something new. Something better, maybe." I could hear him exhale on the other end of the line. Relief and gratitude and something else. "Thank you," he said. "You're welcome." We talked for a while longer, then hung up. Linda looked up from her book. "That sounded good." "It was. He asked if we could fix things. I said yes." "And you meant it?" "Yeah, I meant it." She smiled. "Good. He's earned it." The holidays came. Christmas, New Year's. Kevin and Rachel came to both. Small gatherings, good food, easy conversation, the beginning of something new. In January, Kim sent final billing statements and closed the file. "You're officially done," he said. "No more motions, no more appeals, just life." "Just life," I repeated. "How does it feel?" "Strange, good, different." That's normal. Most people don't know what to do when the crisis is over. They've spent so much energy fighting that they forget how to just live. "Any advice?" "Yeah, live well. That's the best revenge." We hung up. I filed his bill in Linda's folder of documents. The folder was thick now, a complete record of everything that had happened. "We should get rid of this," I said. Linda looked at the folder. "Not yet. Give it another year, just to be safe." "Then what?" "Then we burn it, literally, have a bonfire, let it all go." I like that idea. In February, the second anniversary of Jessica moving out, Mrs. Patterson knocked on the door. "I have news," she said. "What news?" "Patricia sold her house, moving to Arizona to be near Jessica. They're leaving next week." "Good riddance," Linda said from the kitchen. Mrs. Patterson laughed. "That's what everyone's thinking, but nobody wants to say it." "I'll say it," I said. "Good riddance." We watched them move out, watched the moving truck load up Patricia's things, watched her drive away in the silver SUV with the blessed grandma license plate frame. "Think we'll ever hear from them again?" Linda asked. "No, they have nothing to gain from contact. They lost, they know it, that's enough." "Good." Life continued. Spring came again, then summer, then fall. Kevin and Rachel got engaged in October. "I wanted to ask your permission first," Kevin said. "You don't need my permission. You're an adult." "I know, but I wanted it anyway." "You have it. She's good for you." "She is. She keeps me honest. Calls me out when I'm making excuses or avoiding things. It's exactly what I need." "When's the wedding?" "Next summer, June. We'd like you to be there, both of you." "We'll be there." The wedding was small and perfect. Garden venue, close friends and family. Rachel's parents were kind and welcoming. Kevin looked happy, actually happy, not the forced happiness of someone pretending. Real joy. During the reception, Kevin pulled me aside. "I know I've said it 100 times," he said, "but thank you for giving me another chance, for not giving up on me. You're my son. That's not optional. I know. But I also know I didn't deserve it, and I'm grateful." We hugged, a long, real hug. "I'm proud of you," I said. "Yeah?" "Yeah. You made mistakes, but you owned them. You fixed what you could. You moved forward. That takes courage." Kevin's eyes were wet. "Thanks, Dad." "You're welcome." The party continued. Dancing, toasts, cake, all the normal wedding things. Linda and I left at 10, drove home through quiet streets. "That was nice," she said. "It was." "Do you think we're really past it now? All of it?" "Yeah, I think we are." We got home, unlocked the door, walked into the house that was ours. Really, Finally ours. 2 years since the man in the suit. 2 years since the legal battle. 2 years since everything broke and we had to rebuild it piece by piece. You know what we should do? Linda said. What? Burn the folder. Now? Why not? It's a nice night. We have firewood. Let's get rid of it. We went to the garage, found the folder, carried it out to the fire pit in the backyard. Linda lit kindling. I added wood. We waited for the fire to catch. When the flames were strong enough, I opened the folder, looked at all the documents, the bank statements, the loan papers, the court orders, the restraining order, the evidence of everything that had happened. Ready? Linda asked. Yeah, I'm ready. I fed the papers into the fire one by one, watched them curl and blacken and turn to ash, each page burning away the past, each flame consuming the evidence of pain and betrayal and everything we'd survived. When the folder was empty, I threw it in too. The cardboard caught quickly, burned bright and hot. We sat there watching it burn. The night was clear and cold. Stars were out. The fire crackled and popped. How do you feel? Linda asked. Lighter. Good. That's how you should feel. We sat there until the fire died down to embers. Then we put it out, went inside, and went to bed. The next morning I woke up and made coffee. Linda came down in her robe. Sleep well? She asked. Better than I have in 2 years. Me too. We drank our coffee, made breakfast, planned the day, normal things, simple things. The kind of life we'd been trying to have all along. And for the first time in 2 years, it actually felt normal.